Hello friends, and welcome to your May 2022 Taroscopes with me, Intuitive Rene. It's always such an honor and a privilege to be here, and I hope you enjoy the content that is coming your way. So what are Taroscopes? What are the monthly Taroscopes, you may be asking? So it is 12 individual readings that are done using the same format, using the same structure, but obviously the reading itself is different, and I do one recording or one reading per sign of the zodiac. And basically, the idea behind these is to give you a little bit of guidance, a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of motivation for the month in question. In this particular case, May 2022. So normally, well, for the last couple of months, I've actually stuck with the same format and done the same kind of reading month for each of the months. But this month, I decided to change it up a little bit. So it is a little bit different from the normal, from the usual. And we're doing a 9-card reading, which is quite a detailed reading. I'm sort of looking at, we get the kind of theme for the month. We look at what you should be avoiding, what you should be embracing, what you need to be watching out for, what action you need to take on something. And then obviously we get a little bit of guidance from Spirit thrown in as well. So there is a lot of information. And obviously the readings are quite broad and quite, I'm almost going to say non-specific, but it's done so that you can apply it to your life regardless of what it is that you're going through. There are, I have to say though, in some of the readings, it does get quite specific as to what you can expect, what you need to do, what you need to watch out for, etc. But they are a lot of fun. And the idea behind them is to just to give you a bit of inspiration, to give you a bit of motivation, and just to help you navigate the month, yourself, your situations, and your circumstances. But it's really to help you be the best version of yourself that you can be. So the videos are put into a private or separate playlist on YouTube so that you can access them whenever you need to. And I do set the intention that it's done for your sun sign, your astrological sun sign, your moon sign, or even your rising sign. So if you know a little bit about your own astrology and you're curious about, on an emotional level, how are you going to be, then you would look at your moon sign, for example. Or if you just want to look up your family members or your children or your partner or whoever it is, you can. You have access to all 12 of the videos. So there will be a May 2022 playlist that you can access and that you can have a look at. And in the description of this particular video, I will have links to the others as well. So you could just, once you've watched yours, you can just open up the description at the bottom and you can go and access all the other zodiac signs as well. And the tarot cards that I'm working with this month, I say tarot cards, but I mean the cards that I'm working with this month is the Tarot of Mystical Moments and I've only got the lid of the box here, difficult to hold, and the Oracle of Mystical Moments. So they do work together, and they work together so well. So this is the pairing that I've chosen to use for our May 2022 forecast readings. So friends, these readings are free. There is absolutely no cost to you at all to access these readings. In exchange, all I ask is for you, if you enjoy the video, to give it a thumbs up. And if it speaks to your heart and soul, just leave me a little comment below. It's always so valued and appreciated. And if you haven't already done so, please do consider subscribing to my channel. So you get, on my channel, we do week ahead readings every Sunday. They are released for the week ahead. And then once a week on a Thursday, I have changed it from Fridays to Thursdays. So once a week on a Thursday, you will have some kind of inspirational content, whether it be a pick a card reading, whether it be taroscopes, whether it be whatever it is that comes to me. Occasionally there may be a little bit of a walkthrough of a new tarot deck that I've got, or anything that comes to mind. And I love your support. Thank you so much for being here with me. And I'm going to stop babbling, because you're not here to listen to me, you're here to get your insight into the month of May 2022. So we're gonna, this portion of the video that I'm recording right now, that you're listening to right now, is the same for all signs. So I'm recording one intro, which I stick in front of each of the 12 individual readings. So if you do go to watch another reading, it's like, oh, why is she saying the same things? It's because it's the same video. So, so as soon as I stop talking at this point, it'll go straight into the particular zodiac that you are watching, and then you will get your specific reading. I do hope that you enjoy. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for your love and support. And I look forward to connecting with you shortly. Right, so Scorpio, let's get into your reading and let's have a look and see what the month of May 2022 has in store for you. I'm shuffling badly. I'm creating a mess here. Hold on. Let's start this again, Scorpio. Right, so I'm going to shuffle the cards. I'm going to give the cards quite a decent shuffle, and then I'm going to lay out all the cards that we need for the reading before I actually start the reading. So if you are somebody who enjoys watching the shuffling and laying out, please stick around. But if you're somebody who wants to, like, can I just get to the reading, then I'm going to encourage you at this stage to, if you're on your computer, you can fast forward by pressing L on your keyboard a couple of times. And if you're on a phone or a tablet, you can just tap the right-hand side of the video and it will fast forward for you. And you can fast forward until all the cards are laid out and then you come back and start watching, because I'm going to shuffle and lay out all the cards that we need. So Scorpio, we are looking at the month of May 2022. I am going to lay out the cards because those are shuffled quite well. I'm happy with that shuffle, actually. Good. Right, so cut the deck over there. The Scorpio, I'm going to lay them all out, and then I'm leaving a space over there because I'm going to be adding in an oracle card over there as well. So I'm going to leave a space for the oracle, and I'm trying to straighten it up on camera, but not always possible with me, and not always possible with me. And as I put it down, it goes all stood. Okay, so there are our 9 tarot cards. Let's get the oracle deck. Here I have the oracle deck. Let's give it a shuffle. So we're looking for the oracle deck. It's going to give us a theme for the month ahead. Shuffling. Scorpio theme for the month ahead from the oracle deck. I'm happy with that. Taking that card over there. Right, let's tidy up on the screen because everything seems to be a mess, and then we'll get started with your reading. Right, so Scorpio, we're actually going to start with this card first. Once I have done this card, I'm then going to move over to those 2 cards, but we're going to start with this card over here first. So let's have a look. Your theme. Actually, this is not the theme. The theme is those 2 cards over there. This is the card that's going to show us how or who you are when you come into the month of May. So as you enter the month of May, what is your energy? What are you dealing with? What is happening around you? So you, as you step into the month of May, we have got the World card, Scorpio. I love that. So what that tells you is that first of all, it acknowledges that you've been through a lot, okay? It acknowledges that you've got a lot going on and that there's a lot of stuff happening around you, but it acknowledges that you've sort of, if I can say that, you've come full circle, okay? You've achieved, you've accomplished, you've gained, you've grown, you've done everything you've needed to do. And where you're at now is almost this feeling of accomplishment, this feeling of satisfaction, this feeling of, actually, you know what, I've done pretty okay for myself. So you're coming into the month of May feeling quite confident, feeling quite sure of yourself, and feeling like you're on top of the world and that you can and have accomplished so much, which I think is really great. So Scorpio, we're now going to look at these 2 cards. We're going to look at the oracle card first, and then we will look at the tarot. And the combination of those 2 is what's going to give you our theme for the month of May. So what is the energy of May? What is the lessons of May? What is May here to teach you? So let's have a look at our oracle card first. And we've got the Queen Bee. And I'm loving that because it's tying in with that card so beautifully. So the Queen Bee, you know, she recognizes that the bees are working for her. She recognizes that the bees focus only on her and, you know, worry about her, take care of her, look after her, just as she takes care of them, just as she looks after them, just as she is constantly thinking about them. You know, if we look at her hands over there, you can see that she's holding bees in her hands and she's sort of guiding them to the nectar because she knows that they need the nectar, she needs nectar, so it's a win-win situation.
But she realizes and she recognizes the height, she recognizes her stature, her significance within the colony, within the environment. And she certainly has no ego about it, because she certainly realizes that, if anything happens to her, there will just be another queen bee. So it's not an ego issue, but it is just I'm going to call it a mutual respect kind of situation, where she recognizes her significance and how important she is, but she also recognizes that, we all work together in order to achieve the common goals that we have and the things that we need. Even though she knows how important she is to the colony and to the group and to the species, even though she knows that she is important and significant, she also recognizes that she's got work to do. So what that's saying to you, Scorpio, is that you're coming into the month feeling super confident and feeling like you can take on the world and that you can accomplish anything. But you also recognize that you are just a piece in a larger picture, that you are just a portion of a scheme. Let's have a look and see what the tarot wants to contribute to the theme for the month of May for all of you. I love that, the Three of Pentacles. So Three of Pentacles is quite an interesting card, because the Three of Pentacles is the card of teamwork. Okay, it's the card of teamwork. The Three of Pentacles is the card that says to you, you recognize that you can't do anything on your own, but as a group, as a team, we can accomplish and we can do so much. So these two and the World card are actually talking so beautifully to each other. So Scorpio, basically, May is going to be a month of accomplishing a lot, achieving a lot, succeeding in everything that you do, but also recognizing that you don't do anything on your own, that you shouldn't do anything on your own, that, I know it's such a cliche kind of phrase, but teamwork makes the dream work. It's what I'm hearing in my head. Teamwork makes the dream work. So this is your theme for the month of May. So as you go through May, if you find yourself trying to figure something out on your own, if you find yourself trying to do something on your own, I think, what May is about is saying, no, actually, I'm not going to take this responsibility and I'm not going to do it on my own, because why should I be the only one suffering? Let me bring people in. Let's work together. Let's work as a team, and we can accomplish so much more. And we're sort of spreading the load, lightening the load, and making it easier and better for everybody. Good. So Scorpio, we're now going into our next card, and this is a card of what you will accomplish during the month of May. So let's have a look and see, what are you going to accomplish, or what do you need to accomplish during the month of May? And that's so interesting. Queen of Cups. So here she sits. She's clearly underwater. We can see by her hair, and the fish are swimming around her. She's sitting on this huge big shell, and what she has on her lap is a seahorse, and she is nurturing and taking care of, protecting the seahorse. Maybe the seahorse was feeling a bit unwell, a bit unloved, a bit, whatever it is, and she's like, no, let me take you and come sit here by me. Let me hold you. Let me take care of you. Let me nurture you. Okay, so in answer to the question of what will you accomplish during the month of May, the Queen of Cups is basically saying to you that you will learn how, through teamwork and how, bringing everybody in onto the project and bringing everybody in on the situation, you will learn how to best take care of yourself and while taking care of others. And that is something that you're going to learn during the month of May, which I think is lovely. Moving on to our next card, this is something that you need to avoid during the month of May. So what is something that you need to avoid or stay away from during the month? And we have the Nine of Swords. So the Nine of Swords is what we call the nightmare card. It's the fears and the stresses and the anxieties. So I do think, Scorpio, I know it's easy to say stay away from stresses, stay away from things that trigger you, because this is what I'm getting from this particular Nine of Swords as to what to avoid. So avoid your triggers. Recognizing that there's a lot of work to do, recognizing that you are feeling quite confident and you are feeling quite sure of yourself. But we need to avoid our triggers. We need to avoid the things that make us feel insecure, that make us panic, that make us worry, that make us stress. You know what they are for you. They will be different for everybody, but you know for yourself what your triggers are. What are the things that put you in this particular situation? And avoid them, I'm going to say, at all costs. Because the reason why Spirit want to warn you about this, the reason why Spirit is sort of saying avoid this, is because maybe it's going to stop you from achieving the things that we need to during the month of May. Because obviously we get into a spiral, isn't it? When we succumb to our fears and our insecurities and our worries and our doubts, when we succumb to that, it becomes this vicious cycle, and we just go deeper, 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 until eventually we're actually not productive and we haven't accomplished anything that we need to. So the Nine of Swords over here, as to what to avoid with the month, the Spirit saying to you, avoid stress, avoid panic, avoid fear, avoid all those kind of insecurities at all costs. Let's have a look and see what you should be embracing during the month, because what I want to say to you, it's easy to say just avoid stress. I mean, it's easy for me to sit here and say that, but the reality is, the truth of that is, it's not so easy. So maybe if we know what we should be embracing instead, it makes it easier to avoid the stress. So let's have a look and see what should you be embracing during the month of May. And we've got the Five of Cups. So this is very interesting, Scorpio, because the Five of Cups is the card of disappointment. So here's Spirit is saying, avoid panic, avoid fear, avoid anxiety and stress, but embrace your disappointments. And maybe, like, when I look at this, maybe this is Spirit saying to you, we it's interesting how I was kept saying with Nine of Swords, kept saying that easier said than done. And this is Spirit sort of acknowledging, yes, it is easier said than done. So let's acknowledge our disappointments. Let's pay them attention. Let's say, okay, you know what? I'm disappointed that didn't work. And then move on. Instead of, I'm disappointed that didn't work. Why didn't it work? Whose fault is it? What could we have done better? Like, don't go down that rabbit hole. Acknowledge and embrace your disappointments and then move on. Don't let it suck you into that vortex. Okay? Don't let it suck you into that vortex. I think that's actually very, very interesting, Scorpio. Good. We're now going to have a look at our next card, and this particular card is an obstacle that you may need to overcome during the month of May. So let's have a look and see what obstacle might you need to overcome during the month of May. And we've got the Six of Wands. So again, Scorpio, understanding you as I do, knowing this sort of, I'm going to call them typical character traits of Scorpios. You're very deep people. You're very thinkers. You're not really the kind of people, you do emote, you do show emotion. Everything is strategized and well thought out, well planned. I don't want to say that there's no spontaneity, but it's almost controlled spontaneity. And the reason why I'm highlighting that is because an obstacle that you may need to overcome or deal with during the month of May is the challenge or the obstacle of recognition. And every single Scorpio that I know in my life don't like to be limelight, don't like to be center of attention. There's time and a place for it. But generally speaking, they want to just be hovering in the sidelines. And an obstacle that you may need to overcome during the month is actually being in the limelight, being seen, acknowledged, and considering the theme for the month is about teamwork and getting things done, and recognizing that as working as a collective will get us where we need to be, nurturing and taking care of people, but avoiding stresses and avoiding our anxieties, but understanding that you are going to be seen. You are going to be seen as being victorious, and people are going to want to acknowledge you. People are going to want to acknowledge the success and the accomplishments that you have done. So you find yourself during the month of May needing to maybe even, I want to say, as far as stand up and give a speech kind of scenario. Okay, it's obviously not going to be as bad as that, but there's definitely going to be acknowledgement. Okay, and I want to even go as far as to say, it's big acknowledgement. It's not just little acknowledgement, it's big acknowledgement, which I think is so well deserved as well, Scorpio. And it's interesting that it's coming through as an obstacle, because it's obviously Spirit saying that you need to work through this, you need to think about it, you need to plan for it, you need to be aware of it, so that you're not caught off guard, that you're not caught, unprepared, if we can put it that way. So that is an obstacle that you may need to overcome during the month of May. We're now going to look at the support that's available to you. So with everything that you're dealing with for the month, what support is available to you should you need it during the month of May? And what we have confirmation of here is that you don't need support, because we've got the Hermit card, which is the card of introspection, the card of solitude, the card of relying on yourself, leaning on yourself, recognizing yourself, working with yourself. So it is a card of independence. It's a card of, not needing anybody else, not relying on anybody else. So the support that's available to you now is Spirit saying that, yes, we know that you can handle it on your own. We know that you can do it on your own. So there you sit at the top of your lighthouse. Here we have the whole earth and the whole globe and the whole everything there. Here's your support. These two little ships, they're nowhere close to you. They're far away from you, but they are there. We also have support here at the top in these birds So it was like just saying, we will be all around you. We will be everywhere inside when you need us. And all you have to do is ask. We're not going to push. We're not going to force you. We're not going to support you by taking away your, your systems, your processes, your methods, your anything. But should you need us, we will be right there, and all you have to do is ask. So support is definitely available, and I think sometimes just knowing that support is there, sometimes just knowing that somebody's got your back, I think sometimes that's all we need, isn't it? We don't necessarily need them to step in and take over and do stuff for us, but sometimes just knowing that should we need help, should we need support, that it is available for us. And Scorpio, that's exactly what Spirit is saying to you. Okay. Moving on to our next card, what we have here is an action that you have to take during the month of May, something that you physically need to do during the month of May. And an action for you, there's definitely a theme developing here, Scorpio. So before I explain one, I'm just going to backtrack again. So you come into this month having achieved, having accomplished, having done stuff, okay, feeling so fantastic, feeling so good, feeling so great. And it's almost like with the world card, it's like, okay, so I have done that, now I'm going to take it easy before the next big event, before the next big project. Okay, the theme of your month is about teamwork. It's about recognizing that you don't have to do everything, that you can share the load, share the responsibility, share the duties with other people. Something that you need to accomplish this month is about caring and taking care of other people and giving other people an opportunity to replenish themselves, before they move on to the next step or the next stage of their life. You need to avoid your triggers, your stresses, your anxieties, your fears, your insecurities by embracing the disappointments and the things that don't quite work out for you initially and then moving on. An obstacle that you may need to overcome is public recognition and public acknowledgement, and support that's available to you here is available in the distance. It's not going to be forced on you. An action you need to take is to actually do nothing. And that's why I just needed to do a bit of a recap, because, you're coming into the month having accomplished so much. You're coming into the month having already achieved and done and succeeded at so much. So as much as it's about learning about teamwork, maybe it's about recognizing that other people need to do their parts first. That actually this is the month where we're going to give everybody else a chance to do their part of the project, their part of the story, their part of the whatever it is, while you rest and replenish your energies. So going back to our Queen of Cups, I think you are the seahorse. I don't think you are the lady sitting on the shell, because the lady sitting on the shell, she is nurturing and taking care of. She is tending to the seahorse while the seahorse rests and recovers. And here we have got rest and recover. Okay, so Four of Swords is the card of inaction, but it's also the card that says to you, as much as you shouldn't be running in and rushing into doing anything, you need to be ready to go at a moment's notice, but you need to wait for that perfect time. Okay, and I think the teamwork scenario is saying let everybody else do their share first before you start putting pressure on them, because that could be a trigger of yours when you start putting pressure on people to finish and to do their part of it, but they're not ready to finish and do their part of it. So immediately that causes you stress, and the disappointment could be that maybe they're slow, maybe they're not up to scratch, and that's okay. And that's okay. Scorpio, the Four of Swords as your card of action, it's Spirit saying, yes, you will do much. You will jump into action. You will accomplish and achieve many things, but you don't have to start on the 1st of May. You need to actually just rest and take it easy and slow it down a little bit, and just know that when it's time for you to go, when it's time for you to jump into action, you will then be rested and ready at a moment's notice. And it's interesting that that one came below the Queen of Cups, and I honestly think now you are the seahorse. You are the one that does things a little bit differently, just like a seahorse does. And this is Spirit saying that starting a month off, rest. Take as much time as you can to recharge, rejuvenate, to repair yourself, so that when it is your chance to perform, you are ready to go. Okay, so we have one card left, and Scorpio, this card is just any kind of additional advice that Spirit want me to pass on to you. So any additional advice or guidance from Spirit, and we have got the Five of Swords. So very interesting, because the Five of Swords is the card of, I'm going to call it doing something that goes against the grain, okay? Because what we have over here with the Five of Swords is this lady in red. She is using this flower as a mask of kind. So it's almost to hide who she truly is. Behind her here, we have an opposite of her. She is feminine. Here we have a masculine energy standing behind her. And if we have a look at the masculine energy's jacket, it's almost like he has completely torn, broken, and we've even got some wire background there almost blocking or caging his heart, but his heart is open and exposed and broken, and she's standing in front of him pretending like she doesn't see, pretending like she doesn't know, but she could very well have been the cause of that. She could very well have been the person who caused that tragedy within him, and now she's covering her face, covering her mask, and pretending like she actually didn't do anything. So the Five of Swords is the card that says sometimes we have to climb out of our comfort zones and do something a little bit strange, a little bit peculiar, a little bit unusual in order to actually get the upper hand. And the advice that Spirit is saying with this card that maybe this is you in the month of May. It's about recognizing that you don't have to do it all. You don't have to be the superhero. And actually, by believing in yourself, by holding back a little bit, by sort of letting other people do what they need to do, by expecting people to perform their own personal duties, you're freeing yourself from the burden and the stress of those particular situations. And it seems, Scorpio, that that is relevant and appropriate for you during the month of May 2022. So Scorpio, I hope this helps you. I hope this guides you. I hope this gives you whatever you need during the month. Look after yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be gentle with yourself. And as always, with love and blessing from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care.